Jonathan from GameSpot Asia here. I'm here with Randy Pitchford, who has just showed off a new build of Borderlands 2. So tell us, like, what's with the whole art style thing going on? Like, how did you decide to make Pandora much brighter than before? I mean, tell us about the design process of Pandora 2.0.
Well, you know, in Borderlands 2, we wanted to explore more of this giant planet. Borderlands 1 tended to confine itself to a very small part of the planet, and we tended to see more of those arid, kind of dry wasteland areas. In Borderlands 2, we'll be exploring some lush, grassy kind of areas, so we'll see the color green for the first time in Borderlands. We're going to go even into some volcanic areas where you'll see red lava and all next to ice and snow, and so there'll be a lot of white and blue. There's a lot of interesting places on this planet that we imagined but hadn't had an opportunity to build until Borderlands 2. So we're really excited to let players explore how varied of a world this is.
You're gonna bring in a new class in the next 60 or 90 days, the Mechromancer. Could you go into maybe as much detail as possible, like how she is different from the rest and how she can support a party?
We did announce the first additional character that we're going to add as DLC, and this is the Mechromancer class. Her name is Gage, and since Borderlands 2 is finished, we've actually started developing the Mechromancer. So we're just getting started in the development of it. We have the model built. We've started to imagine some of the skills, and what she can do. She is a master of technology, of robotics. She's a Mechromancer, and one of the things she can do is create summon into existence this robot she's built, and she's called this robot Death Trap, and it is a very powerful machine. She can send it at her enemies to do damage. She can also use it to protect herself and defend herself, and it's a really cool kind of thing because it turns out to be sort of a pet class in Borderlands, and she'll be available within about 60 to 90 days of the launch. The development's going really good though, so I think it's actually going to be available more on the earlier side of that equation, maybe even earlier than 60 days. I don't want to change my promise yet because we still have to finish her, but it's going great, and well, we haven't finished them yet. So we've only got a few of the skills finished for the Mechromancer. As we complete the skill trees, we'll release some more details about them, but I'd be afraid to go into a lot of detail because some things are tentative. One thing that's likely to stick is one of the trees that's really about the Death Trap doing damage to enemies, and he's got this really cool ability called Explosive Clap, and the robot will do this giant clap kind of move, and when he slaps his hands together, it creates a blast. It will do a lot of area effect damage to anyone nearby, and it's really powerful and awesome. There's a lot of other abilities that allow the Death Trap machine to do damage to enemies. There's also some that allow it to help her and protect her, and also to help allies. And some of these are still a little TBD, so I don't want to promise anything, but there'll be some that deliver shields to you or regenerate your shields, or maybe send ammo around out to you and your allies, things like that. And there's also there's at least one of her skill trees that's actually very, very challenging. It's for advanced users, a very technical skill tree that's has a lot of nuances to it, and we're still working out the details of that. But it's gonna be for more advanced users. We wanted this character to kind of serve the role where someone who loves Borderlands, that's introducing a new player to the game, might want to suggest using the Mechromancer on one of the more easy skill trees. But we also wanted, since it's coming later, we wanted it to serve the role as being one of the more advanced characters that has a lot of the most nuanced capabilities if you're very skilled at the game. And so it kind of serves both of those in the designs between the skill trees. Again, we need to finish those skill trees, and we'll release some details as we get closer to her being done.
Of course, you mentioned before that Borderlands and the Borderlands 2, it actually takes some influences from other games, from FPSs to action RPGs. Now, on a related note, what are your thoughts on Diablo III, which recently came out, which is also an action RPG in that sense?
Yeah, I love Diablo III. I mean, it's an action RPG in the sense that it runs in real time, but it's still interfaced like a typical Blizzard RTS game where you're clicking on the screen, and that what it shows us is that RPGs where you collect loot and where you level up are very compelling, even if there's not a lot of skill to the game loop itself. Right? In Diablo, I move a cursor and I click on an icon. It's the same skill I use to launch the application, which is really interesting because it's so much fun. I like Diablo 3. I'm on my third playthrough right now, out of 4. I haven't beaten Diablo yet on my third playthrough, but I'm progressing. I think my character's level. I have a wizard character, level 55 or so, and I'm having a lot of fun with the game. I really like loot. At first I was kind of puzzled by their decision to abandon the skill trees that they developed so expertly in Diablo 2, and instead go with a more kind of unlocking options approach that they took. And I think that removes some of the choice out of the game as I'm leveling my character, because whenever I level up, I'll get new skills, and there's really only one choice, which is try out the new skill. And if you like it, you'll stay with it. And if you don't, then you'll just go back to the last thing that you used. I like the skill tree method where whenever you kind of unlock a new layer, you have two choices, and you're going to have to pick one choice, one or the other, and there's differences, there's trade-offs between them, and I really like that approach. So I think Diablo 3 though deserves to be commended for taking some risks and trying some things while still remembering what made the game so strong and delivering us those core loops that kind of engage us so much.
Okay, back to Borderlands. I was thinking, what else can you do to expand the franchise? I mean, are you thinking of actually bringing the name probably to different genres or whatnot, apart from an FPS?
Well, right now our attention is entirely dedicated towards delivering Borderlands 2, and because we finished the game and we're in the certification process now, we've started to look ahead towards DLC. We love the brand, we love the franchise. We haven't really thought about plans beyond what we're committed to right here in the moment, but certainly there's a lot of options and a lot of choices for us, so we'll see what comes as we get down the road.
Possibly more modes, because Team Fortress 2, they have this model where they're making new modes back and forth, like a new co-op mode. How about for Borderlands 2 side? Would you think we'll be releasing something like that? Any consideration?
Well, all of Borderlands is cooperative, so the idea of playing the game alone or with friends is automatic with Borderlands. That's not something we have to add, it's something we already have with the game, and it's one of its greatest features. I think as far as other ideas, there's all kinds of ideas that always get kicked around, but nothing we've announced, nothing we've committed ourselves to yet. As I said, right now the focus is making sure that the game we planned, the game we designed, is as perfect as we can get it, so we can deliver it worldwide. And the launch date's coming soon, so we don't want to be too focused on things that might happen down the road at a consequence of the value that's about to come out right now. So we've really focused and dedicated ourselves to what our customers want, what we've committed ourselves to.
Okay, let's talk about the music of the game. You have hired Jasper Koo to actually compose it, so what actually is it about his style that would mix with Borderlands 2?
Well, Jasper's one of the guys that's been involved. There's actually a number of folks. Rayson Varner has been driving a lot of the music production in Borderlands 2. He's even got some of his own work in the game. I'm really proud of it. There's another fun thing too. On Pandora, there's sort of a broadcast network, the Echo, and there's radios around, and we actually have a lot of original music created by people at Gearbox that's in the game in that way. We also have a fun time licensing music as well. You remember the intro to Borderlands 1 is where we discovered Cage the Elephant and introduced the world to them with their great song Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. And I remember when I first discovered those guys back before anybody knew who they were, and I really loved their music, and I was really happy to introduce the world to them through the game, and it really helped them take off. And so we've got some other folks that we really love that we've licensed song. We've composed original music. The several composers have helped Rayson, and he's directed this process. And I think if you like Borderlands, you're in for a treat, because we've got probably about 2 to 3 times as much music and original stuff and licensed stuff, and some really great material that lends itself to the game well, and I think you'll really enjoy it.
So in terms of post-game content, you showed us a really big boss earlier on, Terramorphous. So there'll definitely be more than Terramorphous, would you?
Yeah, well, Terramorphous is he's almost like a raid boss, and he's one of many things that you can deal with even after you've completed the story, even after you've reached the level cap. There's a lot to do on Pandora, and we wanted to, when we were thinking about Borderlands 2, we really wanted to make the game more of a hobby. Because we love the game and the systems behind it, and it's fun to find loot, but doing the same things over and over again sometimes, after your 500th hour, some of it starts to feel like you've done a bit much. So we wanted to make sure that there were some things that are fun to do even after you've completed all of the narrative missions and completed the storyline, and even after you've reached the level cap. And Terramorphous is just one of those things, and there'll be some other surprises when you get the game too.
without spoiling so much, what happened to Brick? You've already revealed Roland, you've revealed the Siren and Mordecai.
You'll see. I don't want to make any spoilers, but yeah, each of those NPCs and other NPCs that we remember from Borderlands 1 has a role to play in the narrative of Borderlands 2. And I really don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, we've mentioned that they're all there, and you'll bump into him.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Cheers.